The Munich Motor Show is one of the biggest car events in the world. It's where all the latest and greatest cars are revealed by all the biggest car manufacturers. And in this video, I'll give you an A to Z of all the best new production cars and the coolest concept cars on display. I'll also tell you about other brand new top secret cars that have just been revealed elsewhere in the world, including Toyota's half-price Rolls-Royce Cullinan, the Toyota Century SUV. I'm also going to tell you about Volkswagen's plans for a GTI electric car, which is supposedly going to be as fun as a Golf GTI. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching CarWow. Buy, sell,
CarWow.
This is the brand new Audi Q6 e-tron. Well, almost. It's technically a prototype, which is why it has this very subtle grey camouflage paint job. But that's not fooling anyone, is it? The Q6 e-tron is a huge deal because it's the first Audi to come with the all-new premium electric vehicle platform. This means it'll share loads of bits with the next Porsche Macan, which will also be electric, and the forthcoming Audi A6 e-tron. Audi hasn't confirmed detailed specs for this new car, but expect the Q6 e-tron to have around 370 miles of claimed range. The new Q6 e-tron is also the first Audi to get the new digital stage infotainment system. This is basically Audi's version of the huge screens you can get in the Mercedes EQS and the EQE, with a curved display for the driver and a separate screen for the passenger. Audi is expected to reveal the Q6 e-tron in full before the end of this year. Not ready to switch to electric cars just yet? Well, Audi just revealed new versions of the Q8 and SQ8. These get new bumpers and new grills to make them even more imposing than before. You can also get new customizable matrix LED headlights and OLED brake lights with a choice of 4 different graphics. That's pretty neat, but it isn't as cool as the customizable lights on these hi-fi electric cars from China that I recently reviewed. Is it possible the Germans are having to play catch up with these new Chinese brands? Unlike those EVs, the new Q8 comes with a range of 3-litre V6 engines. There are 2 diesels and there's a petrol with 340 horsepower. If that's not enough, you'll need the SQ8 because it has a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 with 507 horsepower. These cars will go on sale in Europe soon. The standard car will set you back from around £75,000, but the SQ8 will be more like £100,000. This is the Avatar 1.2. No, it's not another James Cameron sci-fi movie. It's a new electric saloon that was just revealed in Munich. It was designed by the Chinese brands Changan, CATL and Huawei, and the result is pretty unique. Well, from the front anyway. The back actually reminds me of the AMG GT 4-door, especially with the rear spoiler extended. The fact it doesn't have any rear windscreen is also a lot like the Polestar 5. The standard Avatar comes with rear-wheel drive and around 310 horsepower. But there's also a version that uses dual motors, and you can get advanced driver assistance technology that uses LiDAR sensors hidden around the car. This is the BMW Newer Classer concept, and it shows what the next generation of BMW saloons will look like. And yes, that means more weird grills. The Newer Classer takes a lot of inspiration from the iVision D concept that BMW revealed a few months ago. But this new concept is supposedly much closer to an actual production car. For a start, it can't change colour like the iVision D could. And the interior looks more like something you'd see in a real production car too. I don't mean the yellow corduroy seats, but the super minimalist cabin design will inspire future production cars. Unfortunately, this means BMW is about to get rid of almost all buttons and knobs in its new cars. Instead, there'll be a huge heads-up display that covers the whole windscreen. It'll be so big, even the passenger will be able to see it. This is not the only new BMW saloon at the Munich show though. Check out the i7 Protection. Now this isn't a normal i7 wearing a Durex. Instead, it's an armoured limousine that can resist hand grenades, underbody explosions and even aerial drone attacks. It also comes with armoured glass capable of withstanding sniper fire and machine gun bullets. The downside to all this protection is of course weight. There's a lot of weight, and this seriously affects the i7's acceleration. So the i7 protection uses the same 544 horsepower dual motor setup as the i7 xDrive 60. However, while that car can do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.7 seconds, this one takes almost twice as long. The i7 protection will take a whole 9 seconds to get to 60 miles an hour, which means you won't necessarily be able to outrun your attackers. The Chinese brand BYD is already selling a car in the UK. It's an SUV called the Atto 3, but it just revealed the next two models it plans to sell over here as well. The first is a small hatchback called the Dolphin. This should cost less than £26,000 when it goes on sale before the end of the year. The next car it will sell is called the Seal U. It's an SUV that shares parts with the BYD Seal, which is a Chinese market saloon. You'll be able to get it as a plug-in hybrid like that car, or as a pure EV. And top spec versions of the electric Seal U should have dual motors producing more than 200 horsepower. The Munich Motor Show is the first time the Cupra Dark Rebel concept has been shown in public. Cupra actually revealed the design of this futuristic shooting brake a few months ago. Then it let fans modify it using an online configurator. Cupra then took 270,000 of these designs and used them to pick the exact spec for this real-world show car. Before you get too excited, the Dark Rebel car isn't going into production, which is a shame, because Cupra has already proved it can make production cars that look like concept cars. Just check out the Cupra Taviscan SUV. This electric car also made its public debut at the Munich show, and it looks very similar to the Taviscan concept from 2019. The production car comes with a single or dual motor setup, producing between 286 and 340 horsepower. All models come with a 77 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and this will give you a claimed range of up to 341 miles. Cupra hasn't confirmed how much the Taviscan will cost, but top specification cars could set you back more than £50,000 when they arrive next year. Lotus is about to show its first fully electric saloon. It's called the Emia, and it'll take inspiration and technology from the Electra SUV. Mercedes has revealed this new concept CLA class at the Munich Motor Show. It looks like a super futuristic concept, but it's supposedly very close to an actual production car that you'll be able to buy in the next few years. The basic design has a similar silhouette to the Mercedes EQS and EQE, but this new car has very different lights, especially with those illuminated strips down each side of the car. Mercedes also plans to build a shooting brake version, and there'll be some SUVs that will use the same basic platform and electrical technology. This tech actually comes from the record-breaking EQXX prototype, which I drove last year. This technology gives the concept CLA 466 miles of claimed range. That's even more range than you get from the range-topping EQS 450 Plus. That car has a claimed range of 452 miles. Mercedes also brought a few off-roaders to the Munich Motor Show. It teased a prototype of the quad-motor EQG, which is an electric version of the latest G-Class that should go on sale in the next few years. And it also revealed the brand new E-Class all-terrain, which could be the perfect car if you work in finance but have to commute through a quarry every day. It's based on the standard E-Class estate, but it comes with jacked up air suspension to give you 5 centimeters of extra ground clearance. There's also extra protection on the bumpers, wheel arches and sills to make sure you don't damage anything on sharp rocks or walls in multi-story car parks. This is the brand new Mini hatchback, which has been officially renamed the Mini Cooper. The round headlights and curvy body look similar to the old car, but every surface has been made even simpler, including the new triangular brake lights. There are loads of changes inside. Just check out that circular infotainment screen. This 9-inch OLED display is supposed to look like the central speedometer on the original classic Mini, and it's definitely more interesting than the rectangular central screen in a Tesla Model 3. Unlike that car, the new Mini will come with petrol and electric power, although ICE versions won't arrive until next year. For now, you can choose from 2 different electric versions. There's a 184 horsepower Cooper E that has 190 miles of range, and there's a more powerful Cooper SE with 218 horsepower and 250 miles of range. The standard car will set you back around £30,000, while the SE will start from around £34,500. Mini also revealed a brand new Countryman at the Munich Motor Show. It gets a similar minimalist design to the Cupra and the same round infotainment system, but it's obviously a much larger car. It's actually 13 centimeters longer than the old Countryman and 6 centimeters taller. You can also get the Countryman with either petrol or electric power. Entry-level petrols have 170 horsepower and front-wheel drive, and there's a 218 horsepower four-wheel drive version in the works as well. The electric Countryman E comes with 204 horsepower and has 287 miles of range. The dual-motor SE has 313 horsepower and 269 miles of range. Prices start from less than £29,000 for the least expensive petrol Countryman, rising to almost £47,000 for a top specification SE electric model. Mini says the first UK deliveries should arrive in February 2024. This is the new Cayenne Turbo E Hybrid, and it's the most powerful Cayenne ever made. It's also the most powerful Porsche on sale. It has a 599 horsepower twin-turbo petrol V8 plus a 176 horsepower electric motor, and combined they produce 739 horsepower and 950 newton meters of torque. This means the new Cayenne Turbo E Hybrid will blast from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.7 seconds, but it'll probably be even quicker in reality. Just check out what happened when I timed the old Cayenne Turbo GT from 0 to 60 miles an hour. 3.1 seconds to 60. Now that time is actually 0.2 of a second quicker than Porsche claimed. This new Cayenne also comes with a larger battery than the old hybrid Cayenne. As a result, the electric-only range is up from 24 miles to a more respectable 43 miles. If this sounds like your kind of SUV, you can order a Cayenne Turbo E Hybrid now for just over £130,000. Porsche also showed the new 911 ST to the public for the first time in Munich. This retro sports car could be the greatest 911 ever. I really like the retro design touches, especially these badges. But I love the 525 horsepower naturally aspirated flat 6 engine. It's the exact same engine as you get in a new GT3 RS. However, unlike that car, which is an automatic as standard and you can't get it with a manual, the ST only comes with a 6-speed manual, and it should be pretty amazing to drive as it's the lightest 911 Porsche currently makes. That means it'll match your wallet, because this special edition 911 costs £250,000. And it'll be very rare. Porsche is only going to make 1,963 of them. The Renault Scenic has morphed from a funky MPV to an electric SUV. It looks pretty conventional from the front, but check out those alloy wheels. What is it with French brands and crazy wheels? First the Peugeot 408, and now this! Turning those weird looking rims is a single electric motor with 170 horsepower. There's also a more powerful 220 horsepower version, and you can upgrade the standard 60 kilowatt hour battery to an 87 kilowatt hour unit. Renault hasn't said how much this car will cost yet, but expect this new Scenic to set you back around £40,000 to £45,000 when it goes on sale in 2024. This is the new smart #3, and it's the brand's biggest car yet. It looks similar to the smaller #1 from some angles, especially with its full width light bars, but the #3 has a much curvier roof, so it looks more like a coupe SUV than a jacked up hatchback. You get 272 horsepower as standard, but Hot Brabus versions get 428 horsepower and can do 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Tesla has revealed a heavily updated version of the Model 3. You get better looks, better materials inside, better technology, better aerodynamics, and better range. I've actually already driven this car, so to see what I think of it, click on the pop-out banner appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen, or follow the link in the description below to watch my in-depth video review of the new Tesla Model 3. Now we come to the car that I was most excited to see revealed. It's the new Toyota Century SUV. Now I love the Toyota Century, and this is a high-riding version of the Century Saloon, which means it's effectively Toyota's version of a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Just like that car, the Century SUV is designed to be driven by chauffeurs, so it has some ultra-posh rear seats with all the usual backseat infotainment and reclining features. You can hide from the outside world behind some special windows that can switch from transparent to opaque almost instantly. Unfortunately, you don't get a huge twin-turbo V12 like you do in the Rolls-Royce, nor a 5-litre petrol V8 like in the Century Saloon. Instead, the Century SUV has a 3.5-litre V6 plug-in hybrid system with 4-wheel drive. But don't worry, because Toyota has confirmed there will be a GRMN version. Now, it hasn't announced further details about this sporty model, but you can't have a GRMN car without a healthy power boost. But that's not all. You'll be able to customize everything about this new Century SUV. And I'm not just talking about some fancy paint colors and special interior trim like you can do with the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. You can still do all that in the Century SUV, but you can also choose what sort of door you want. Trust Toyota to go the extra mile. There are normal hinge doors, or you can get sliding rear doors. And Toyota has teased something even crazier. It might build a convertible version of this new Century SUV, although you'll need to speak to Toyota directly about customizing one of these for yourself, and doing so won't be cheap. Speaking of which, the Century SUV will probably cost the equivalent of £135,000 when it goes on sale. However, that's half the price of a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. So it sounds like an incredible bargain, but there's a catch. Toyota is only going to build 30 of these SUVs each month, and they'll only sell them in Japan. Why Toyota? Vauxhall and Opel have built this new experimental concept car to show you what to expect from their cars over the next few years. Ignore the fact that it doesn't have any side windows. There's no way that'd be legal on a production car. But the design themes and general silhouette could show up on a future electric crossover. In fact, this is one of the first cars that will get Stellantis' new electric car technology. It's currently working on 4 different versions of this platform, and these will underpin loads of EVs from different Stellantis brands, all the way from a Fiat city car to a massive Jeep SUV. Volkswagen is here to prove that electric cars can be fun with the new ID GTI concept. Looks good, doesn't it? The basic shape was inspired by the Volkswagen ID2 All concept from a few months ago, but this new version gets plenty of GTI goodies. That means loads of red bits, a cool body kit, and some very tasty wheels. The ID GTI has a single motor instead of dual motors like most performance EVs. I guess they're just trying to keep it true to the GTI's DNA, being front-wheel drive only. Still, Volkswagen has given the car an electronically controlled front differential. Volkswagen hasn't revealed any performance statistics just yet, but they confirm the ID GTI also has simulated shift points and sound effects to match a classic Golf GTI. Now, I'm not sure about those gimmicks, but maybe they'll work in a cheeky hot hatch. However, if you're more interested in practicality, then here's the new Volkswagen Passat. The wheelbase, which is the distance between the front and rear wheels, has been increased by 50mm, which gives you more passenger space in the back seats. This estate version also has 40 litres more boot space than the old car. There's lots of new technology too, including this 15-inch touchscreen. Volkswagen has supposedly fixed the daft touchpads and fiddly menus in its current crop of cars, such as the ID4. And unlike that electric car, the Passat comes with a range of petrol, mild hybrid, plug-in hybrid and diesel engines. It'll go on sale in Germany in early 2024, and it'll cost the equivalent of about £34,000.